What's up everyone, and welcome back to Top 5 Central. We all know that one guy who carries around a metal detector and tries to find like treasure on a beach or abandoned site. Maybe they find something, maybe they don't, but one thing that's been exploding on YouTube lately is people going underwater to find hidden treasures that may have been lost for a long time. So today we're taking a look at 5 of the strangest river treasure finds caught on camera. Anyways, leave a like on the video right now for good luck. Who knows, maybe you'll find some treasure too, but with that said, let's get right into the video. Number 5. Now when this guy went river hunting, he was mostly looking for pretty standard items like glasses or anything normal, but what he found definitely doesn't fall under that category. I mean, at first he was just picking up sunglasses and wing mirrors that had somehow snapped off of cars. In fact, he even spent a while looking at the skeleton of some sort of tiny sea creature. Anyway, after a while of just watching the fish and swimming around, he noticed a weird looking handle sticking out of the sand, and that's when things really started to get interesting. That's right, it was a gun, but not just any gun, because the more he tried to pull it out of the sand, the bigger he realized it actually was. I'm not joking, he ended up holding a huge rifle, which obviously he turned over to the police, since it clearly could have been used in like a murder. But he was still hoping the police could give it back to him so he could figure out what it was. The good news is, people in the comments measure learned that just by looking, and let him know he'd actually found a 100-year commemorative Marlin 336 from 1970. Not a bad find, am I right?
And then the gun. Still amazed by it. Lever action, maybe a 30-30 or I don't know.
Number 4. It turns out you could go hunting for river treasure without even having to get your feet wet, as long as you've got the right kit. Like these guys use super powerful magnets to drag the treasure up from the sand, and that meant they could tackle heavier treasure than one person could ever carry. Because of that, they managed to find everything from a fireproof safe to a stolen handbag in just a few hours. But they also found something that went way above their usual haul. Basically, he noticed the shape of a motorbike in the water, and obviously he knew he had to go for it. It took 2 magnets and a crazy amount of pulling, but eventually he was able to reach in and grab it, and the end result was totally worth it. I mean, yeah, the thing was a little beaten up, but it still looked pretty awesome. In fact, if I was him, I probably would have kept it, but he did the responsible thing and turned it over to the police, just in case, it was like a stolen bike or whatever. Number 3. Now digging around in the mud with your bare hands might not sound like a great way to spend an afternoon, but trust me, if you knew you were going to get results like this, you'd probably give it a go. I mean, this guy jumped into a river with nothing but a shovel and a metal detector. And even though he didn't find anything exciting at first, his determination definitely paid off for sure. Like after a few glass bottles and big pieces of scrap metal, the detector started to beep again, and this time he hardly had to dig at all. What looked like an old branch laying in the water was actually a rifle, and not just any rifle either. We don't know the exact make and model, but we do know it was the kind of weapon used to fight in World War I, and finds like that are super unusual. I have no idea how it ended up in a river just waiting to be found, but this guy should be really glad he did, because I can only imagine the story behind it.
Oh!
Number 2. When you go hunting for river treasure, there are some things you expect to find, some things you don't, and some things you really wish you hadn't. I mean, most of this trip was pretty normal for this guy, like he found some keys, some sunglasses, and a ton of broken iPhones, but then he spotted something a little bit weirder. At first it just looked like some feet sticking up out of the rocks, but the more he pulled things away, the more it was revealed, which maybe wasn't a good thing. Basically, he found a doll, but it wasn't the cute kind by any stretch. I mean, it had no hair, no clothes, but just really creepy black eyes and a weird smile, and it looked super old too. I have no idea why he picked it up, because it was probably thrown to the bottom of a river for good reason, but it gets even worse. He even went on to name the thing Clarice, so yeah, it's been nice knowing you, buddy. Have fun with the Devil Ghost Demon doll.
Would you like to see my treasures? How do you like Clarice? That's a creepy little thing, isn't it? Anyway, this is what I found today.
Okay, here's our honorable mention. Dropping your phone and breaking it is one of the worst things you could do. In fact, the only thing more annoying is dropping your phone somewhere you could probably never get it back. That's obviously what someone did in this video, because they ended up dropping their iPhone to the very bottom of a river, only to be later found by my friend Jake. The thing is, the owner obviously cared a lot about the phone because it was in a super sturdy case design to stop it getting wet or damaged. Unfortunately though, the case wasn't enough to protect it from tons and tons of river water, because when he found it, it seemed broken past the point of fixing. Like, it wouldn't turn on and was completely waterlogged, but he still made a promise to try and reunite it with its original owner. Super nice thing to do, especially since the iPhone was actually a brand new iPhone 7, and it didn't even have a scratch on it. Who knows, maybe it sprung back to life the second he tried to charge it, or maybe it was permanently broken. Only one way to find out, I guess.
iPhone and it's in a case. I have no clue if it works. I don't know what model this is. Let me know in the comment section below. I thought it was an iPhone 7, but I really don't know. Like, I don't have any iPhones, but it looks brand new. Like, there's not a single scratch on it, but I think it's completely flooded.
Number 1. Magna hunting is all about making the most exciting finds you can, but sometimes you find something so dangerous and exciting that you almost wish you hadn't. That's what happened to this guy when he was Magna fishing in Scotland, because after pulling up tons of old car parts and tools, he ended up stumbling onto something way cooler. Basically, he thought it was just another random scrap of iron at first, but the closer it got, the more nervous he became. It turns out he'd actually uncovered a grenade and was quickly pulling it towards him. That's scary enough, but the closer it got, the more certain he was that it didn't have a pin in it, meaning the grenade was probably live. So yeah, that was enough to make him think twice about pulling it off the magnet, but thankfully the explosives inside were super damaged by the river water, so it was safe enough to handle. The funny thing is, this wasn't even the first grenade he found, but he was still insanely excited. Like, a freaking grenade isn't exactly the kind of treasure you find every day, so I probably would have been super excited too.
I do not know if that is what it is. It certainly looks like it, and I don't see any type of pin in it. Oh my god, look at that. Live grenade. Is it a live grenade? That almost looks like a grenade. That is a grenade. I'm actually kind of nervous about taking off the magnet, because if I break it and it's still got explosive, which I don't think it has, because it looks like the explosives will be wet.
And there's our video on the top 5 strangest river treasure finds caught on video. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to see whenever I upload a video. Also, if you have your own top 5 or top 10 idea, feel free to use our Extremely Handy form in the description to submit it. With that said, thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.